Hello, thanks for tuning in. For those that don't know what kind of happened today, I want to kind of get you guys up to speed, talk about things that went well for us today and things that we should celebrate, and just it's another day closer to getting this thing wrapped up. And so there was, I feel, there's a lot of people that are watching, which I really am glad because it was nice to kind of chat, even though we weren't there. And so if you guys can hear me, please let me know. I'm just kind of getting everything up together on what I want to talk about. So I want to talk about the 104 ruling. Okay, so it started off this morning. We got the information that we need on when it comes to the 104 ruling, which is it's a good thing for us because what we're able to do is we were able to introduce the Oregon State Police testimony from yesterday, Cody Bowen's testimony from yesterday, also the Harney County Sheriff as well, his information. So that all became part of the record, which is great for us, right? Because, I'm careful with my words and what I want to use here. But they were trying to talk about the way that, magazines are used for self-defense when it comes to law enforcement and in law enforcement capacity. And so that was something that, we fought really, really hard to get, and we got that in. And so, that was a big victory to start off the day. And we had, obviously we finished off with the Harney County Sheriff, which he did a great job, and I'm really, really thankful for him standing up for his constituents and his way of life as a buckaroo or a cowboy. And so I found that funny, as the cowboy buckaroo. And so it's just whatever we can do to make this situation a little bit more comfortable, because it's just everybody's on pins and needles. We want the information, we want a ruling right now, and it's not going to come right now, and it's just going to take time. And so, we're going to have to be patient there. We're going to have to understand, what's happening. And so, that's kind of the thing. Hey Shane, thanks. Thank you, Andrew. I hope all's well. I'm going to see you guys next week, your family, and I'm looking forward to that. And so, we had cattle. We had a cattle rancher. He gave, Shane Otley gave really great testimony talking about, coyotes in the calving season. And so, that was a really, really great kind of tying everything together when it comes to why we have magazines that hold what they do, our standard capacity. That's what we've been using. The Harney County Sheriff, he did finish off with that. We was talking about open sights with red dots when they're dealing with wolves. And, so there's a lot of things that are going on there. And so I'm looking, I have a little bit of a different vantage point today, just because I'm here in the office. But I am able to kind of watch the body language a little better of the attorneys, which was awesome. And so I can kind of see, just by their faces, their mannerisms, sometimes I could read their lips. So it was kind of cool to see that. I saw the judge. I didn't spend as much time kind of looking at the judge because he was in a smaller screen. And so it was really kind of hard. He had some really great questions today, especially for Brian DeLay. I really think that, the state of Oregon really got sold a fake bill of goods with that guy. And so this guy, and I'll get to him in just a minute. So I'm just kind of going down what we covered. They, on the cross-examination, they want to hang their hats on bolt action rifles that only hold 3+1. That's like their magic card. And as we saw yesterday, is a Remington 700 can go in an aftermarket stock. And now all of a sudden, now it can take a detachable box magazine. Now it's potentially illegal under Measure 114. So that was a really great illustration yesterday. And so that's, obviously the state hammered that again. It's a Remington, it's a 3+1, yada, yada, yada. But they're forgetting the expert testimony from yesterday. So I think that's a big, we're looking at, all we're trying to do now is score points. And so if I was going to look at today, I would say, and you guys can agree with me, if we're on the same page, I feel today it was like a 80-20. It was like 80 points to 20 points. I feel that Tony did a very, very good job, he had really good control of the courtroom today. He had really good cross-examination. I mean, I felt really, really good about what he did today. And so, obviously let's celebrate him. This is something, David versus Goliath, right? They have eight of them, and he had just himself, and he had all of us that were supporting him and cheering him on and rooting him on. And so I feel that in this situation, he can feel that. I feel that he knows that we're watching. He knows that we're supporting, and he's doing what needs to be done. And so I feel that we have a fair judge. I feel that he understands kind of the situation. I think he understands the levity of the situation, especially to the rural counties and, especially his constituents. I think he understands the importance of these magazines and why they have them in their county, and which is going to help us all across the state, because this is a state ruling. And so, that's kind of the thing there. And then we got to Ben Calloway. And so he owns a gun store over there, FFL. He testified in December, did really, really good in December. Again, he did a really, really good job. And so Ben, I forget the name. I drove by it. I meant to stop him, but he was closed. If somebody can help me out with his shop, please let me know. He's a local guy in Burns, got a great store, great selection, and he did a good job. And I'm really, really proud of the people that our stuff was good today. And so for the people that didn't get to tune in, I mean, some of the things that, we got victories on, Ben, a prime example with Ben was the fact that he had an alarm that went off at the store. He called 911 and they couldn't get to him for 5 hours. And so he went there to make sure that nobody was robbing the store. And so he took an AR-15 and went to go check it out. Luckily it was a false alarm, but that's the reason that he had that AR-15, because he doesn't know what he's walking into, right? Somebody breaks into a store, they have, magazines and ammunition at their availability, and he's walking into a potentially bad situation. And so this is why, we have those magazines, and so that was a really, really good thing there. And what else? I'm trying to be as good with the information. That way I don't get people that are complaining about me talking too much. Right. So, which I get it. It's like a very contentious issue right now. We're all on pins and needles. We want answers right now. We want to know that we're winning. And so today we won. And so that's where we have to celebrate that. Understand, they got Oregon State Police. I had to step out I had an appointment. Yeah, it was Ben Calloway. Yeah, he did a really, really good job. And so, I had to step away, so I missed a little bit of it. And, when we got back from lunch, I was really looking forward to, spent cartridge. Thank you. Yeah. Sorry, I messed that one up. And so in that situation, I missed a little bit. We did bring on somebody that used to work for the fixed system. I had a phone call, so I had to kind of step back. I'm trying to get ready for tomorrow, and I'm behind getting ready for tomorrow, but it is what it is. Like today was really, really important day. And I'm glad I was able to see it right here. This one right here, I hadn't gotten here yet, but this is really, I feel, and I don't know if you guys, paying attention with me, I feel like this was the most important line of questioning at this point. And so we're talking about at this point is this was Brian DeLay. I didn't take notes on him too much, just because I've already seen him. I've already known what he's going to say. I will. So let's start talking about Brian DeLay. So Brian DeLay, a little history on Brian DeLay. So he is a scholar. He was in the federal trial. I took really good notes on him when I was up there in Portland. And so he is somebody that is gotten into the industry of gun control. And we're going to call it what it is. It's in the industry of gun control. There is a tremendous amount of money. My Freedom of Information Act request that I submitted, because I was wondering how much all of these witnesses were paid. He was paid $40,000, okay, by the state of Oregon, and that was for the federal trial, okay. And I don't think that was all of the information. And because they did not want to give me all that information, and they, as much as they have to, they were trying to hold it back. But anyways, so I've been, I researched him heavily when we're up there in the federal case, because he's from UC Berkeley. He admitted on the stand up there that the first 10 years of his career as he was becoming a historian, he only dealt with his echo chamber. And his echo chamber are all collegiate professors that most likely are going to be left of center, anti-gun. And so that is his echo chamber. And so he didn't think to think outside of his echo chamber until he realized that he was really ineffective as an expert witness. And the fact that he's charging that much is really kind of, it's bad for the state of Oregon. And the reason I say that is because the information that he's providing isn't accurate. And it might be accurate in maybe from a historical standpoint, but when it comes to, operation of the firearm, there's just so many miscues that he does not know. That was like, if I had $1 for every time I heard, I don't know, I probably could have bought, 100 rounds of 9mm. You know what I mean? It was that bad. And so, that's the thing, Dylan. These guys, it's big business. There's a lot of people. That Ryan Bussey guy, he's from Montana. That I posted him. He's making his living now. He got out of the gun industry, and now he's pimping himself all over the country, being this expert witness and saying that I'm so sick of what the gun industry is doing. Please pay me, and I'll tell you what the gun industry does. So there's a lot of money to be made in this, and that's what these people are doing. Is they're basically they're tenured professors. They're making six figures, and then they're moonlighting doing the gun control thing. And it was pretty telling. And there was some stuff that I think one of the most important parts of the fact that he admitted that they admitted that two magazines, detachable magazines, were in the 1500s, then the 1600s, and then the follow-up question was, are they integral to the operation of the firearm? And he said yes. And I was literally, I don't know if you guys caught that, but I was literally doing backflips in my office. That was huge, because that was the whole thing. Is the state of Oregon has been trying to paint this in the 1800s as what none of these guns were around. And he was really careful with that term in common use. And so that's where he went commercially successful. That was his new term. So you're going to learn a lot about, gun control and the new terminologies they're using to defeat the Bruen decision, right? Or Heller. They're going to make up all these terms, right? And so, that was something that I was really glad to hear. And, there was some really good things that came out of it. They talked about, the Native Americans. He was asked about fanning, which he totally botched that one. So it just showed how truly, book smart he was. He's very book smart. He can talk a great game. I bet he's wonderful at dinner parties. I bet he can just rub elbows with the best of them. But when it comes to, what he's trying to do in Oregon, he was in over his head. And so, that's the thing here. And so, the redirects, I noticed that the states, they didn't have a lot of redirects, which was good. And so that means, and whenever they did have a redirect, Tony had a really great follow-up question. And like, I saw a man on the screen today that had come into his own today. And so that's where, like, I don't think he watches these videos because he's got other stuff, but I know his family will see these. As I want to give a big round of applause for what he did today. He stood in there on his own against the machine, and he peppered away, and it was just jab, 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 jab. And it was pretty amazing. And so we should really, hold our head high on what he did for us today. And so, one thing I really didn't like about officer, excuse me, Brian DeLace, he brings the whole woke into the conversation, right? And like, this guy's so left that he started, instead of saying craftsman, that's something that's been a term that's been used since the beginning of firearms as craftsman. It has to do with carpentry, it has to do with firearm making, gunsmithing, craftsman, and he calls it craftspeople. It's really annoying, and it's really condescending. And so, that's the kind of the frustrating part. I see a guy that's so out of touch with reality. He's definitely out of touch with the constituents of Burns, Oregon. He has no idea. And what I really appreciate is the fact that the tweets were brought up. I think that they were pretty damning, and so that was some really good cross examination. That was some, and I mean, at least he owned it. Like, I will give him that. At least he owned his personal, perceptions of the world as he sees it. So I get that, and for that I respect him for it. But other than that, I mean, the opinion of his is really off the mark here, and especially with what we're talking about. And so I feel that it was not necessarily a good use of Oregon's resources here. But our team won, and so that's where we're going to celebrate that. So obviously it's a waste of taxpayer dollars, but it was a win. And so that's something that we want to focus on. And then they brought up, after that we brought up, Joe Paterno, and so that one what really confused me. And because this was an emotional plea. This is basically the state of Oregon saying, look at how hard these people tried. Look at all of these people, and how he brought up the fact that clergy should be the ones making these laws. And I love the way that Tony fired back. And what about judges? He named off all these people that should be making these. Actually, was that delay? Maybe I misspoke, and I apologize. It's been a long couple days, and so that's the thing is. It was pretty spectacular. And so the fact that he got called on it, and he's like, oh yeah, of course the judge. Yeah. So there's obviously there's a bone of contention between the witness and the view of, what it's supposed to be. Yeah. So delay. Thank you for that, Chris. Yeah. So, I feel that he really over delivered and underperformed. And so, which is good for us because it all was on the record. Never did see the magazines. I was surprised before lunch that they said they were going to bring in some magazines. And so I was really curious on, what that would look like. And so cause I wanted to see, them pointing to magazines. I wanted them talking parts. I wanted, I was really looking forward to that. Like, come on guys, show us what you got, and so, I feel that. So I think what happened there is they lost an expert witness when it comes to like a sickness or something like that. So, I think that's why they wanted to try to prove this point. And so maybe it'll happen tomorrow. But I don't know. And so other than that, it was a good day. I feel like if you guys watched it, please let me know what you guys thought. I feel, just from my experience being in the courtroom and watching the proceedings, I felt like I still had a pretty good grasp of the room. I saw Cliff that's in the crowd, and I really respect Cliff. I think that, he's been there. I think he's one of the plaintiffs as well. And he testified the first day, and yes, 30 cal clips. Absolutely. Yeah, they're clipazines. They fire themselves, so that's kind of where I'm at, and so, yeah, it was a good day. I think the hardest part for me was when I saw, cause typically the past couple of days, there's been people in the courtroom with Tony. And so yeah, like he would like it breaks, he'd get up and we kind of talk and touch base and yada yada yada. And I think the one thing that really kind of tugged at my heart is at lunchtime he stood up and he was just kind of looking around. There was nobody in the courtroom. And I kind of like I was watching him in the camera and I could tell it was just kind of like he was kind of as well as he was doing, he was kind of like he wished he had somebody there to kind of to boost him up. So if we can get somebody there tomorrow, that'll be awesome. I would love to have somebody there. Oh, that was the greatest thing right here. Is this? I was going to get to that as well. Is I really appreciate the fact that the judge wanted to protect that kid, and the fact that the state of Oregon's witness tried to push back and said like basically said that his time is as he's retired is more important than protecting that kid. Like I really respect that position from that judge, and that's probably not going to be part of the trial, but as us watching from the outside looking in on the video, like seeing a man that says no, I'm going to do what's right for that child and I'm going to do what's right for that community because that's the community I serve. Like I have a lot of respect for that. And so I it was cool. It was cool. I'm glad he was able to do that. And so, that's the thing. That's the thing. And so yeah, it comes down to they don't care about us. They don't care about public safety. It's all about them. It's all about them moving this in a way that's going to be a hindrance and it's going to make everything we've seen the past couple of days, this thing goes into effect, all of those lives are going to be put at risk. And so, the things that we need to make sure that we know is the people that are in favor of this stuff, right? They're not the ones that are looking out for Oregonians. It's people like the judge. There's people like the sheriffs that have testified. It's like, those are the people that are looking out, for the safety of the public and the safety in their communities, because these magazines, they serve a purpose. And as we prove today, because of their own words, they hung themselves on, is they are an important part of the firearm. And so just because you're afraid of something does not make it illegal. And so that's where, yeah, that's where we have to, understand like this is like an altered reality that we're watching right now. It's like this just the sheer amount of money that's being just burnt, and yeah, no worries, Kevin. It's just there's a lot to it, and so I felt good today, and I hope the people that watched all 3 days. Who did that? So I can't see the comment. Who comment? Who's this comment right here? Today was amazing. Yeah, there was, and I feel sometimes in my experience from what I'm seeing, what I've seen from being in the courtroom is sometimes the attorneys do the best when they can do what they do, and that's argue. And hey, Dan, so thank you. Yeah, so good. I'm glad you were the one that you helped me with the 104, so I appreciate that. And I will put a link to the 104 ruling. Hey, William, and I'll put a link there so you guys can kind of see, what it is that and why that understand. So that's the thing. I got all these, my computer's blowing up. I apologize. So give me 1 second. I'm going to get this link here. And what I'm going to do, so I'm going to put it in the comments. So this is the rule 104. And there was some questions on what it meant. And so basically it's a ruling, evidentiary ruling when it comes to the state court. And so, basically what it does is it gives, both sides the time to introduce evidence, and then it gives the judge time to rule on whether he's going to allow it to become part of the record. And so that's what it meant. And so, the fact that we got the ruling this morning that started it all off and gave us the information that we needed, that was something that really started things off on the right foot. And so what that did is it opened up all of the testimony for yesterday when it comes to, the magazine capacity, when it comes to law enforcement. And so I feel like that was a really, really good thing. And obviously this is just me speaking from my perception. I'm not an attorney. Okay. I'm not running anything when it comes to this stuff. This is just what I'm seeing, and I'm trying to give it to you in information that you'll understand in a layman's version. Okay. And yeah, I hope you're doing all right, William. Did I see it right? Was it colonoscopy? I got one of those the other day. It wasn't fun. So sorry, I had to throw it out there. It's for jokes. It's for jokes. But that's, yeah. So it's okay. It's okay, Dakota. I mean, a lot of it is it's legal wrangling. It's a lot of back and forth. Today was better. I saw, like, what I was watching today. I was watching the attorneys on the other side. It didn't seem. It seemed like they were down. It seemed. So this is not the OFF trial. That was in federal court. This one is a GOA suit, and so I don't know specifically how to give money to that. I know they will need funding. I don't know how to do that. I could probably find out, and I'm in a better mood. I'm trying to be. I'm in it, like, I'm one of those guys that my mood kind of depends on the situation that I'm in, right? So like I got home late last night, took a wrong turn, took the long way home, which I was not happy about, and because I was just fried. I left there at 5:10 is when I got on the road. I didn't get home till 11:30, and I drove, like, I had 2 stops, that was it. So it was a lot. And I was up early, because I had to get stuff done for my trip tomorrow, and also I want to make sure that I caught as much of today as I could. And so today was a good thing. And so I feel like, for the people that tuned in, I mean, and watched it, I feel that, the body language of the attorneys, they seem very deflated. They didn't seem as argumentative. I think the judge had some really, really great questions, and so that's where I wanted to make sure that we celebrate, we take the good with the bad, because, it's ebbs and flows. We don't know obviously we know what the next witness is going to be tomorrow. It's going to be that Paterno guy. Oh shoot. Here we go. Well, about that comment, I had to prove my point. And my point was, they were trying to say that that testimony was being scripted for me, and I had to push back and say, no, that's not terms that I would use, especially working with women. And so that's why I worded it the way I did. And so, that was something that it was a gamble, but I had to kind of interject and kind of push back, because that's, they were trying to go in a direction that I didn't want to go. And so part of it is just, it's a very challenging position to be in. And so that's where, it was definitely not fun. And so I 9 out of 10 don't recommend. So, but you live and you learn. And so, that being said, I really enjoy how the judge is engaged as well, Larry. I think that's a really, really good thing. I feel that, it's nice he doesn't have his mind made up. And so that's what's really, really great is, and that's what we're talking about scoring points is it's going to be back and forth. There's going to be, winners and losers in this situation. I'm hoping that it comes out in our favor. And I feel that the more that the judge can understand the reality of, especially when it comes to those rural counties, especially his county, that's gonna have some weight. And obviously, you know, I think one of the things that was frustrating for me when it comes to the emotional part testimony that they're trying to bring is the Clariva stuff that we got excluded today. That was a huge victory. I'm sorry I missed that one. I must have missed that note because I was going to talk about that. So yes, Clariva's getting struck down, and having his testimony thrown out, that was a huge victory. That guy is another one, just like Brian DeLay. I think he's from the East Coast. I have notes on him as well. And so that one, he was very much, one of these guys that studies guns and the effects of guns. And so, that was something that, that was a big win early. And so I was glad to get that one, to get him out of there, so that was another victory for us. And so Scott, you are, it's sign you up, Scott, and so, that's kind of the thing is, that was another win. And so we're talking about the emotional stuff. The emotional stuff is what they wanted to introduce with a couple of other. There was the one from the Clackamas Town shooting. She lost both of her parents. And then there was an ER doctor, and he was in the federal trial, and he was going to talk about gunshot wounds and his professional opinion of gunshot wounds. And so in that situation, I think, that was really, really important to know that emotional stuff was kept out. And so that was huge. And so, I think the judge made a comment that I thought was very, really telling is he was confused by the defense's tactic, which I was kind of like, why would you, that's like you're rewarding these people for getting participation trophies just because you did something like, and my argument here, this is my own personal opinion. I'll air it with you. Is the voter rolls, they cannot prove to us that the voter rolls were clean, right? So they cannot prove that there was no fraud involved when it comes to the passage of Measure 114. And so, when we're talking about that, I feel that, this emotional part of what they're trying to introduce, it's like, yeah, they're gonna try to push this. Alicia brought it up earlier, and I really liked it. Is the fact they're going to be pushing the fact that it's the will of the people, yada, yada, yada. It's, well, it was less than 1%, right? So typically, like we look at a political poll is plus or minus 3%, right? So typically somebody polls at 42%, it could either be, 45% or 39%. That's the way these things swing. And so, the fact that it was that close and they haven't proved to us that we had the clean voter rolls. And what I mean by a clean voter roll was there only one person in that house that was registered to vote that voted that way? Or was there 5 people in that house that voted the same way under the same name? And that's what the state of Oregon should have to prove. And that's why the Secretary of State is really in derelict of her duties, but she's gone. So we have a new one. And so, going forward, if we were going to do anything substantial to protect like the legislative process and the IP, like we should introduce stuff to clean up the voter rolls. We should have stuff where like the ID to the vote to ID to vote, that's, whatever you can do to clean it up. Like we're always going to have, the fraud when it comes to the mail-in ballots. And so, we just have to make sure we show up and vote, and so, that's kind of my frustration. And when you're introducing, this stuff, and I don't want to talk about too much because it's still open, but this is my, my personal opinion. And there's some stuff that I'm gonna reserve comment because it's still open. And so other than that, how do you guys feel? Oh, I got an email. Hopefully, we got some good news in my email. Give me 1 second. Chris, are you watching? Like it doesn't like it's blank. So I mean, do I need to fill out the information and track it myself, or do you already have that? Let me know, Dan, or let me know, Chris, because I need to I need to get on that. So, that's kind of where I'm at. Yeah, absolutely. Take the debt off the voter roll. That's what we need to do. And so and that's why I'm not going to buy this argument. The whole will of the people thing does not fly with me because you've not proven that. Oh, cool. You have the data. Okay, yeah, yes, like screenshot it and send it or whatever. And then I'm gonna, yeah. So offline, Chris, please. So your dad, I'm sorry you lost your father. That's that's too bad. Um, so that's kind of where we're at. Does anybody have any other thoughts on things today that you want to talk about? I mean, so for tomorrow, I'm not going to be able to check in. So because I'm going to be traveling, and so I'm not. I'll try to watch as best I can, but I'm probably going to miss you. And so if somebody wants to kind of take charge and feed me stuff or you know turn on the camera and do it, see how you do. We could do it tomorrow, no pressure. Um, but I'm going to take my camera gear with me because I plan on, where I'm going to be at. I'll do some stuff. I'm gonna, um, I'll be available. I mean, obviously, I'll post some links to the live stream of the conference that I'll be at. So it's going to be the Gun Rights Policy Conference. It starts Saturday morning. It's going to go till Sunday. It ends about 12:30 on Sunday. I'm speaking at 10:15, I believe. I've got a 15-minute panel, and so that's where we're going to be at there. And let's talk about this one, Scott. Yeah, I'm sorry about your loss of your dad. Yeah, Brian. Yeah, 100%. And what I just saw that coming out of Pennsylvania just did the same thing, and they're cheering that. Is now, basically Oregon is teaching all these other states how to do the mail-in ballots. Because we've been doing it for 30 years, and so that's why it's really really important as we understand as we're exporting this cheat, and it's a way to affect future elections. And so the best thing we could do is figure out a way to have some sort of campaign to figure out how we clean these up because I saw that James Manning is actually running for Secretary of State. He's my senator. He's a rabid anti-gunner, and so that's the thing is I don't think he would be a really good candidate for the Secretary of State because we're going to be kind of in the same thing. He's an old dude too. I don't even know. He's like kind of reminds me of Joe Biden. He's just doesn't seem like he's all there. So we're talking about trial. So trial is scheduled. He blocked out 6 days. I did see something today that he's thinking that it might go until Friday, but they do have Monday reserved just in case. And so, that's something that just be aware of. And then he's going to have to rule. I don't know how long it'll take for him to rule. And so that's kind of where we're at. And I really respect the judge. And I really respect. So one thing about the judge in that area, like when I was over there, Yeah, I wish we could change that. I really do. I really wish we could do that. And um, the hard part for being over there is the fact that we're all in the courtroom. We all have to go through security, and it's because of the 8 attorneys requested that there be security. And so we're talking about security. We had to go through a metal detector. We had to be wanded, and that is, obviously for the safety of the people in the court. Okay. The problem is they have 4 patrol deputies for a 10,000 square mile county. Okay. So we pulled every available deputy off of the road to protect that county, just so they can sit there to provide security for us, right, in the crowd and the attorneys. And so, that was hard. And because I know there's people in need in that county, and it just puts extra stress on law enforcement. And so, hey Robbie, sorry I got on early. I was fired up. I still got stuff to do for tomorrow. So today I give it at 80 out of 20, or excuse me, 80 points to 20 points. That's what we scored on them. It was a good day. And so there was some really, really big moments. Obviously the evidence was a big thing with the 104 ruling. Also getting Clarivas shut down and excluded was a really big thing. The fact that their expert witness didn't know anything about firearms because he doesn't handle firearms. He looks at them in books and reads about them. And so, that's something that's really, really important to note is, and he also admitted, Robbie, this is the really the biggest thing, is he admitted that detachable or tube magazines, they were around in the 1500s and the 1600s. And he admitted on the stand that they were an integral part of the firearm. And so, that was a really, really big win. There was some other stuff, some tweets. The cross examination was really, really good by Tony, and Tony did a really, really good job today. And so that's where I was going to say is you know just hold your head high and just know that our guy did his job today. So, um, yeah, yeah, 100%, yes. And it was a beautiful thing. It was like literally when I heard that, I started doing backflips and I was hooting and hollering, and it was fabulous because that's what we needed to say. And so Dan, where is this one? The permit to purchase. So the permit to purchase issue. Okay, so this was excluded, and so the judge had a ruling. I think it was a week or two before this case, where he said that he was not going to rule on the permit to purchase process and program because, to be honest, there isn't one. And so, you know that was part of the thing, is they were supposed to weigh on both of it. There was supposed to be severability when it comes to this legislation. And so when we're talking about severability, it means parts of it could be taken out and the other parts could go into effect. That's what the severability is when it comes to this stuff. And the fact of it wasn't severed, or that wasn't in part of this, and we're going to focus specifically on the magazine portion, is something that's, you think about it, it's a big tell. It's a big tell because we're looking at permit to purchase. There's other precedents from around the country that are showing that, and the way I feel that the federal court judge got it wrong. And so there's stuff coming out of the Ninth Circuit that we're gonna get. Either she's gonna have to re-rule. I don't know if there'll be. And this is stuff hypothetical. Please don't quote me on it. This is just me reading the tea leaves here. But there's a good chance that some of this stuff could have a different. They might have to rule differently. Because she totally messed it up. And so And the way she weighed the evidence, that was totally incorrect. And the Ninth Circuit came out with something the other day that said this is the way it's supposed to be weighed. It in regards to the Bruin decision, also previous decisions like the Heller decision. So there's a lot of stuff that we have going in our favor here. It's just I don't think they have the capability to implement. That's the whole thing. Is and we look at these small counties. I mean, they have four. Like there's times there's nobody on duty. How in the heck are they going to train? How in the heck are they going to do background checks on their residents? I mean, it's literally going to be impossible. They don't have the budgets for that. They don't have the manpower. They don't have the resources. It's just because something was passed by what less than 1% does not make it good legislation. So, and that's what we're trying to figure out right now. What does that look like? And so, what we really, really need is just the TRO to stay in place. And, that's kind of the thing is if the status quo stays in effect, everything is good until, we can get some clarification or they can get something involved. I mean, literally, they said it's $50 million to implement just the first year, and it's $42 million the additional year, and a lot of it is unfunded. So there's a lot of stuff that goes into it, and so that's it. I'm coming up on 47. Really should get out of here. I still need to pack, and so because I was here all day. Let me look at this real quick. Excuse me. You're my hero. Thank you, my friend. Thank you for sending me that email. I'm gonna read it. There's some reading I'm gonna do tonight, and so on top of all the other stuff. So that is really, really good stuff. And so boy, Jeff Green, he really likes to donate, doesn't he? Wow. I want to see six figures. Okay. Anyways, enough of that. Anyways, I think I'm going to get off here unless you guys have anything else. So this data is something another thing that I'm working on, and yeah, I really there's some stuff I can't talk about, and so it's stuff that I'm trying to gather information so I can make better decisions on the stuff that I'm working on. And so a lot of the stuff is I don't know, like I'm trying to be really, really careful, because I definitely I don't want to influence anything. I think information is our friends, and especially the way information is coming at us when it comes to it's because it's a wall of attorneys that are working against our guy in our team, and so yeah, I'm sorry, and it's no worries. Like this, I guarantee you guys, the stuff that I see is not fun stuff. It's not like it's a lot of it's just numbers. A lot of it is you got to know how to read data and spreadsheets, and it's numbers typically. It's nothing sexy, so it's not like it's like this fun stuff that I get to read. But no, I think no, Mark, and that's the whole point of this is the whole point of this is to give you guys the easiest way to understand this, because once we understand, and maybe it makes sense, and I was thinking about this is at a later date, is maybe doing like a legal layman's class where like we talk about what these terms mean, and how we can understand, because there's still stuff that I want to learn, like facial challenges versus as applied challenges, because when I hear that I'm like, what does that mean? And I heard them Yeah, data hoarder. Totally. I am. You should see my screen. It is just like, I can't, at least let me see if I can show it real quick. Um, let's see. 1 second. Yeah, it's a mess. I probably shouldn't do that, but yeah, I have lots of, because I save stuff. It's just stuff because I file it away for later on. When am I going to need it again? You know what I mean? And so no, no, I'm far from the crack, and I'm just doing a roll, right? And so um yeah, and the whole point of this, like what we did with the oldest thing, right? And which I said the other day is like, I got guys and gals that have never been engaged in the political system. They're now they're they know how to navigate OLIS. They know how to contact their representatives. They know how to send an email. They know how to track bills. Like, that's a victory. And so, you know, yeah, thank you, Dakota. I'll talk to you guys later. I'm gonna probably wrap this up. I think people are done. So, but I just want to kind of just, today was a good day. So let's focus on tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be another new day, and we're going to start off with the cross. And that's kind of the what we're gonna focus on. Is they're gonna present the Paterno guy. I don't know where they're going. I don't know. I just let them do it. Let them do what they're gonna do, I guess. So you just we just gotta understand that. So we can't change it. All we can do is witness it and have it hopefully go in the way that we need it to go. And oh, I'm sorry, I froze the screen, I guess, for tuning out. Apologize for that. So I was kind of looking at something. So other than that, anybody have any questions? Are you good? So this is his purpose, okay? His purpose is to introduce onto the record the amount of effort that was put in by this group on how they got this thing to become a law. And I feel that because the argument they're going to make is, and this is just me speaking. This is something that Alicia kind of brought up, which I think is like a really, really awesome point. And this is not an effective strategy on our part or anything like that. But I think what they're trying to do is introduce the will of the people, because they feel that it was less than 1%. It was like 0.7, I believe, that approved Measure 114. So they're trying to say that they've got this huge win. And my counter to that is, are you sure that Mickey Mouse didn't vote for this? Can you show me that Mickey Mouse didn't vote for this? Because if you can't, then I'm going to be suspect. And so that, there you go, right there. You tee it off. And there was an alley-oop too, actually, today. The judge, it was freaking spectacular. It was an alley-oop, and that's kind of where we're at. It was an alley-oop from the judge to Tony, and I feel that it was just getting on the record, and it was just the judge was doing his job, and so that was a good thing. So other than that, what'd you miss? You missed a good day. And so it'll be saved. You guys can watch it back. I got on early because I got stuff I need to do, and I was really pumped up. It was really it was a good day. And so that is a really good question. And that, to be honest with you, that's one I don't have. And I don't know. I feel that we got to string everything together to build a big sandcastle. And that's probably a bad example. Or building a puzzle, right? So we're building a puzzle. We start with the border of the puzzle, and we start working our way in. right? Is every little piece adds up to the final puzzle. I think that's what this is. I don't feel. I think the little bits and pieces and little components add to the bigger thing. I think, and I don't know. That's something I don't know, and I there's a lot I don't know, but I don't really want to comment too like officially on that, but I feel that that is in the right direction. Thank you, Dan. That means a lot. I hope everything's going well for you guys. I missed you when I was up there the other day. I heard you're out enjoying the new property, so that's awesome. I'm glad you got to do that. So I look forward to seeing more about that, and so enjoy that. Get some. I hear you're getting hunt in, so that's awesome. So enjoy that. You know, I look forward to gun rights policy stuff. That's stuff I go every year. I've been going since 2017, and so I meet a lot of great people there, and that's how I learn all this stuff, so I can be better at what I'm trying to do here in Oregon. And so it's I'll have links so people can watch you. There's gonna be lots of good testimony. There's people that Masada Ayoub's going to be testifying. Mark Smith's going to be there. Four Boxes Diner. There's going to be John Correa is going to be there. I'm looking forward to seeing him again and talking to him. And, so it's a really good thing. And, Dan Mitchell, I originally met him there a couple years ago. I think it was 2018 or 2019, I think, when I met him there. And so we've just been friends ever since. He's got a great shop in Vancouver, and he's done a lot for the people of Washington. And so, that's, oh yeah, dang it. So yeah, I totally get it, so I I look forward to seeing what comes up. So, that's the thing, is just you put a lot of time and energy and effort into what you do, and so it's time to just get to enjoy it. So congratulations on that. So who Justin, who are you talking about? Let's talk about that. Who do you think? What are you missing? Excuse me, what am I missing? Um, Justin, let me know. What do you mean? Yeah, okay, well, I'm not gonna keep who off the stand. That's what I'm trying to figure out. Who do we not want on the stand? Please. Oh, come on. That's nah. Let him. Let him. Let him. And so that's what's really, really important about that rule 104 is this testimony is being presented under the measure one, or excuse me, the 104 ruling, right? So that means, they're going to do what they're going to present. We're going to cross, yada, yada, yada. They're going to redirect. And then the judge is going to make the final ruling on whether that's going to be part of the record, so like, let them, if that's their path to victory, let them shoot their shot, and so, that's, just let them, if they think that that's a winning recipe, then do it. I mean, the judge already made a comment that he doesn't understand this tactic, and he said that on camera, and so, it's just it's challenging, so, but that's what it is. So other than that, you guys have a great day. I'll be on there probably at 9, and then I got to get off pretty soon after. So I'll kind of see what things look like, and we'll kind of go. If anybody's going to be watching this tomorrow that can take good notes, that I could understand, and or wants to to take the chair for the day or something, please let me know, because I definitely I think these updates need to come out every day. I really do. We just have to do it where it's going to be, somewhere it either makes sense for somebody to step in and do this, or they feed me the information so I can do it in a way that it's going to make sense. Because I'm going to be in the dark. So if you guys want to, if somebody can help me with that, that would be amazing. And figure that out. That way we can every day we can give up an update. I had people say that I should put it on put it pen to paper. I don't know if my heart's in it for this today. Yeah, I mean, yeah, whatever. I mean, she wants to. It's just something that we gotta keep up the. I don't want to. It's a lot of pressure. Like, I'm not saying I'm the best, but I've learned a lot by doing this, and it didn't come overnight. And so maybe I should have figured out, like, how do I get somebody else up to speed? So maybe that was my fault. So I don't know. I just, yeah, I got to figure it out. Succession is really, really important. So, um, so other than that, yeah. So Mark, appreciate it. Voluntold, voluntold. So you have a couple options for you, and I'm talking to you. Okay, talking to you, Alicia. So the option would be you take notes and feed the notes to me, right? Or I set it up so you broadcast into the group. So what do you want to do? It's it can be intimidating, and I get freaked out sometimes, but I just kind of power through. So whatever you want to do, that's the thing, is I want to be able to do an update tomorrow. I land in Phoenix at 4. I'll probably be at the hotel by 6-ish, and I got some things tomorrow night. Yes. Thank you for measure 110. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. No, it's a lot. It really is. You'll take notes? Okay. So if you want to feed me the notes, that'd be great. And I would appreciate that. And um maybe we could do a share. I could share a screen. Maybe we could do, like, the listen and learn. And so maybe, would you feel comfortable where I add you to the screen like I have here, like I've done in the past, and we do it like a round, like you and me, and we could go back and forth, or you can just do the notes. What would you like to do? Thank you, Chris. I appreciate you. Chris? Are you married to Lisa, by any chance? Bonnie Clyde. uh, uh, so yeah, let me know what you want to do. We got time to figure it out. I want to make sure that we get them the information that they need tomorrow. I see a no. Oh, okay. Somebody else. Never mind. So, other than that, fair enough. We can only do what we can do. So, I've developed a kind of a system, and it's a lot of chicken scratch, but it works for me. But I wouldn't expect anybody to understand what it means. So I totally get it. So yeah, we'll just touch base tomorrow. I'll let you know, and yeah, I appreciate every one of you guys, and I appreciate you, Alicia, for the help. I think you're a good person for the job, and we need to talk about what you have coming up, Alicia, and maybe we should do that. I got some, yeah. Yeah, it's like that sometimes. So I don't have a lot of options. Unfortunately, I'm looking at my people. I'm like, oh, who can I tap on the shoulder? So I'm glad you stepped up. And so Joe's not going to tell. Yeah, oh yeah, DC. So I'm going to see the ladies from DC. I'm going to see Diana this weekend. I'm going to be with her, which is going to be awesome. And yeah, whatever we can do, whatever you can do to bring information that can supplement, that's awesome. So just try to make it where I can understand it. So because I don't want to waste people's time. So yeah, we'll talk about it another time. I'm going to get off here. It's been an hour. So I appreciate you guys tuning in. And today was a good day. Thank Tony. Give him a big hallelujah because he did really, really good. So, thank you guys for tuning in. We'll do it again tomorrow. So another step closer to victory. So let's keep it up. So have a good night. Thank you.